It was just one of those days when I ordered that cactus-shaped humidifier for my healing journey. And bam, I slipped into consumerism. Consumerism, the sacred art of buying things we don't need with the money that we don't have, and to impress people, of course, who are too busy scrolling to notice. I don't know why, but while influencers call it just a little haul, my bank account calls it a hosted situation. And don't worry, universe has a sense of humor. Women end up paying double for deodorants, razors, and literally anything pink. The pink tax. Because being smooth should come at a higher financial and emotional cost. Obviously. And who can forget those Instagram trends? Oh, you gotta keep up. If I don't have that Masha Frodo and that guasha, I almost cease to exist. If I don't have that color coded pantry, and if I do not have that fancy vanity, and who can forget those long Miniso queues, then you see, we are not shopping anymore, girls. We are performing a lifestyle, isn't it? So here's my take on consumerism. Also, I've added the timestamps. Please check them out and proceed accordingly. Let's dive into the video. India is spending like never before, from rising income to digital access. A consumer boom is sweeping the nation.
Mm-hmm.
So, what does it mean for the future? And what is even driving it? Let's see.
In words of Philip Kotler, consumerism is a social movement seeking to augment the rights and powers of buyers in relation to the sellers. Consumerism is characterized by the social movements of consumers. It explains the rights and responsibilities of the consumers in relation to the buyers, and in fact, involves collaborative efforts of organized consumers. You'd be amazed to know that the United Nations Guidelines for Consumer Protection (UNGCP) gave way to the objectives like assisting countries in achieving, maintaining adequate protection for their population as consumers, assisting countries in curbing the abusive business practices by the enterprises at both national as well as the international level. Besides, development of market conditions which provide consumers with greater choices at lower prices, and even promoting sustainable consumption. I've added the link which gives the detailed information. You can pause and
So, now that we know consumerism, let's dig a little deeper for the need of consumerism in India. While consumer sovereignty is paramount, and we know time and again how consumer is regarded as a king of the market, right? Just hear me out, guys. These statements have limited practical applicability. India is a vast country, and a great proportion of Indian consumers are illiterate and ignorant. Very few of them even exercise their rights. Consumers are often unable to distinguish the genuine products from the bogus ones, and mind you, that's just the drop in the ocean. Consumers are even misguided by those deceptive advertisements. Come on, we all know of those examples where there was betting app that was being promoted, or those fantasy gaming apps that were being promoted. The legal process in India is troublesome and time consuming. I clearly remember how when I had to get a refund for an expensive home buy, I almost had to drag the company to the consumer forum. With all that in place, I'd like to give you a sneak peek into the prevailing Indian market. India boasts of about 200 million estimated middle class consumers, and with the advent of the open economy stature in 1990s, what happened was that the Indian economy exposed itself to the MNCs. It was also acknowledged that Indian consumer particularly was tough to win.
mm-hmm.
Cut to present with vibrant demographic profile, despite the complex attitude of consumers, we have shifted towards the consumerism. The GDP growth strong at 8%, we are definitely getting closer to materialistic. You see, we Indians are motivated by our personal goals, and there is a strong desire, a very strong desire for materialistic success, isn't it? India, with the average work week of 50 hours, is among the hardest working nations as per the Gallup poll conducted recently. The Indian consumer, who would earlier rely on these foreign goods, is increasingly pivoting towards the Indian companies. And the reason is they perfectly suit to the Indian tastes as well. Often the brand that successfully captures the Indian market knows how to Indianize their product. Basically, Indian consumers are price sensitive. So the brands that are able to keep their hold in the Indian market know how to keep a price point such that they are able to meet to an average Indian consumer. Now, whenever I speak of India, I am reminded of the complex and contradictory nature of the country. Joan Robinson, a noted Cambridge economist, observed that whatever could be said about India, the opposite was also true. While this was spoken only in the sense of the development journey of India, here's a look at the inequality. Consumer spending, as I said before, is on the rise. The economic growth has brought about some striking changes. These striking changes can be seen in terms of the consumer spending or the lifestyle changes. In fact, there is a growing preference. There is a growing preference towards the malls over the traditional bazaars that we had. Yes, malls. Malls with their wider appeal due to the variety of products that they offer. Apart from that, there is a one-stop solution to the dining as well as the entertainment needs, and that too at a cleaner environment. However, there are certain effects of the malls as well. In economic context, there is a mall effect. People could be simply drawn away from these small and local businesses. They could perceive that maybe the products that are offered by the malls could be of the superior quality as compared to the ones that are offered by those traditional bazaars, etc., even if they are offered at a cheaper price. Apart from that, we know how shopping at a mall is regarded as a symbol of financial success and modernity. So that could also be one reason why people could drive towards the mall over the traditional bazaars that are there. So all this popularizes malls over the traditional market. Another impact of these malls is that there is an increased consumer spending, right? Because of the maybe the attractive displays that they set up, or maybe the environment that is already there. That was about the economic context. Now let's quickly move to the psychological context of this one. Malls basically influence the consumer behavior. They lure you into this impulse buying with the help of the layout that they have, the store layout in particular. And apart from that, there is also an ambient music playing in the background, which could also be a tricky thing. I mean, we've all been there. I always end up buying a perfume which I just didn't want. And that's basically is the layout at play. Interestingly, the leisure experience offered by the malls promote a sort of a longer stay and at times even overspending. There's a very interesting thing known as Gruen Transfer. Gruen Transfer is when basically a mall's design lures people to a level that people who've come there, the shoppers, forget their original intentions and they end up buying more. Minded, this isn't just limited to the brick and mortar stores, but also for the online shopping. So basically, the maze-like layout, the strategic placement of the products, or the ambience that's there, the comforting music that they play, all of that adds to the disorientation and ends up making us shop more. So now I guess you know why you end up spending more on the wrong items. So Gruen's effects at play here. Effect is a technique which is used in all IKEA stores and it's all deliberate and well crafted. Another important part of the mall effect is the sociological context of it. So you see, mall also acts as the modern public spaces, the places where youth gather and socialize. These are the places where the youth culture is fostered, and apart from that, of course, the lifestyles, etc., are also formed at the same place. Coming back to inequality. Wealth inequality was pointed out by the Oxfam report, and according to the report, India is one of the most unequal countries. According to the report, the top 5% of the Indians own more than 60% of the country's wealth. For the year ending 2023, as per the World Inequality Report, 22.6% of the total national income went to the top 1%. Speaking of the gender pay gap, men earn 82% of the total labor income, while the figure for women is only 18% as per the World Inequality Report. All these call for the government intervention to drive away these structural trends that are there and again weed out these inequalities that are prevalent. Effective policies will be useful in this context and can be easily created by the government. Things like like skill development initiatives, the small support programs that could be there for these businesses, and the affirmative actions. All these are the steps in the right direction. While I'm fully aware that all these measures will take their time to bring out the results, I would like to end this one on a hope for inclusivity. In a world where the shopping malls shimmer with excess and the ads promise happiness with every swipe, it's easy to forget the hidden cost of the consumerism. Always remember, behind those glossy storefronts lies the deep inequality of wealth, access, and opportunity. As we fill our carts, let's ask, who gets left behind and who benefits from our desires? The story of consumption isn't just about what we buy, but basically about the world that we are shaping with our buying. Thanks for watching. If this made you think, talk about it and share it. And let's not stop questioning. Until next time, stay aware, stay conscious, and stay curious.
Hope you like the video. Please don't forget to hit thumbs up and subscribe. We'll be back with more such videos.